Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Eclihpse, and today we will be going over the top 5 ways to counter the Royal Giant, because if you are like me, ever since this new update came out, the Royal Giant has been royally kicking my ass. He literally stands halfway across the playing field and he just sits there sniping your towers, and I feel like it is the hardest troop in the game to counter, especially if the enemy knows what they are doing. So this is the reason I've put this video together, and one last thing I would like to say is everything in this video isn't in any certain order, so pretty much all of these things are pretty effective at taking him out, and I haven't really found one better than another. So with all that being said, let's get on into the video. The first troop we will be going over is the Pekka and the Mini Pekka. I figured I would just put both of these into the same category since they're both classified as Pekkas. The good thing about Pekkas is that they are high damage troops, so they can take out the Royal Giant in just a few hits. The Pekka does more damage than the Mini Pekka, obviously, but the Mini Pekka is cheaper, so you can throw down some support troops with it, and that should help clear the way. However, one bad thing I found about these troops is if the enemy places troops like Barbarians, you might find it that your Pekka or Mini Pekka is getting distracted on the Barbarians, and by the time they are on the Royal Giant, they are pretty much dead. And for the most part, Pekkas or Mini Pekkas are pretty good at taking him out, but just keep in mind if the enemy has support troops like Barbarians, that might be game over. The second counter we will be going over is the CannonZap Combo. The Cannon's pretty much the cheapest defense in the game, so you throw that right down in the middle, and then once the Royal Giant's over there creating all that chaos, you can just simply zap him, and that'll stun him for a short amount of period of time, and then by the time the Cannon's destroyed, the Royal Giant is basically going to be dead. The only flaw I did find with this is that if the enemy has Barbarians or other support troops leading the way, the Cannon will most likely get stuck on those troops, and the Cannon might not actually ever target the Royal Giant. But besides that, the CannonZap Combo is one of my favorites. The next troop we will be talking about is the Inferno Tower. Just throw down the Inferno Tower in the middle of the map and you will just melt the Royal Giant in seconds. Again, the only flaw with this one is that if there are leading troops or supporting troops, the Inferno Tower might get stuck on those troops, and similar to the Cannon, it might not ever actually hit the Royal Giant. The fourth counter we will be going over is the Minion Horde, and the Minion Horde could be one of the best counters for him. However, it could be one of the worst at the same times. The reason it's very good is because of the high, damage per second the minions do. But if the enemy places a wizard or a princess behind the Royal Giant, those troops will pretty much just melt the Minion Horde, and the Minion Horde will pretty much get stopped right away. If you know the enemy doesn't have enough elixir for a wizard, princess, arrows, or anything that can pretty much counter the Minion Horde, that is the time you'll want to place it. The only problem is that the Minion Horde is very inconsistent because there are so many counters, so this one kind of lowers it down on the list. However, if you know the enemy has nothing to take it out, it can easily be one of the best. And the fifth counter to the Royal Giant we will be talking about is going to be split into two troops. This is going to be Sparkie or the Barbarians. I couldn't decide which one worked better, so I just decided to talk about them both. As far as Sparkie goes, I don't personally have it, so I just stole a clip from Royale TV, but as you can see, it just shoots this big voltage fireball, electricity, thunderball, whatever you want to call it. It just fires a big laser at the Royal Giant and basically takes him out relatively easily. And as far as Barbarians go, Barbarians just swarm the Royal Giant and pretty much melt him easily as well. The only problem to Barbarians that I found is if the enemy has a wizard behind him, because the wizard will just shred those Barbarians instantly. Those are all of the things I really do have to talk about in this video, and as I mentioned in the beginning, some of these will work on some people and some of them will not. It all depends on the enemy's deck, and since not everyone has the same exact deck, it can be kind of hard to know what strategy you should bank on. So if you guys are creating a new deck or stealing a new deck, I would probably recommend you have at least one of these 5 counters in there, because you will be seeing a lot of the Royal Giant the more trophies you gain. Personally, for me, I've lost hundreds of trophies because of the Royal Giant, and it's becoming one of my least favorite troops just because it's such a pain in the ass to counter. I've tried using it myself, but still I feel like I'm not very good with it. But hopefully this video helps you guys. If it helps you just a little bit, please give the video a like below, and of course, if you feel like every counter in this video is straight horrible, you can feel free to give the video a dislike. So guys, this has been Eclihpse, and peace out.